What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I wanted to share with you guys a new helmet that I picked up recently, let you know what I thought about it and the good, the bad, the ugly. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So this is my new helmet. This is my Forcite MK1S. It is marketed as a smart helmet. So there are some things that I love about it. There are things that I absolutely hate about it. As you can see, it's DOT certified, MK1S on the back there. Forcite logo here. Forcite is an Australian company, so FYI. But as you can see, it comes with a gloss carbon fiber shell in twill. You can also get this in matte, but it's only in black. You can't get it in white or any other colors or graphics or anything like that. The twill finish is really nice. Very happy with that. For a carbon fiber helmet, though, it is a little bit porky, and we'll weigh it and compare it to my Shoei GT Air here that I currently wear on the street as my daily rider, and that's what I intend this helmet to be, as a daily rider. As I mentioned, it already has the pin lock installed, so I've already gone ahead and done that. Really nice detents on the screen here, so very good there. Lots of airflow, so we have two vents that you can open and close up here on top. There is also a brow vent here that you can open and close there, as well as some chin vents, and the mechanisms to open and close that are on the inside. I'll show you that in a minute. It has exhaust ports here on both sides, as well as on the top with an articulating spoiler. So I don't know why you would mess with that, but it is what it is. They got some exhaust ports on the back there. You can lock said visor in place with the little mechanisms here, and there's one on the other side as well. So you can lock that down if you happen to do a track day and you don't want this rising up on you. You can do that as well. It is a smart helmet for two reasons. It has an integrated camera here. If you open the visor on here, and there are some LEDs across here. So you get this LED here and there's one here. But if you got it on, there's a large LED bar that goes across the whole thing. And that is primarily used to give you some heads-up display. So if you're using their navigation app, for example, it will tell you, turn left in 1,000 feet. And when it comes time to turn left, it will light up this LED with strobing going across saying turn left. It'll do the exact opposite for turn right. And there's a whole pattern of lights that you probably need to learn, because it'll notify you of hazards, of traffic, debris in the road, law enforcement, a whole bunch of things it'll notify you about, and it'll do so with a series of lights, and they'll display either a different color or they'll do a different pattern. It also comes with integrated speakers. It does not use long-range Bluetooth, so you won't be able to connect and pair this with people that are using a Sena or a TalkPack or anything like that. It basically uses voice over IP, so basically a cell phone calls. If you are almost anywhere other than the US, you will get an integrated sun visor that you can actuate on the side, similar to my Shoei GT Air over there. So this is my Shoei GT Air that I ride on the street right now, and it has an actuating sun visor that you can put up and down. The US versions of the MK1S do not. I don't know why that is, to be perfectly honest with you, so a little bit disappointing. Standard D-ring clasp. Very large neck roll along with a chin curtain. Down here on the very bottom, there's a little rubber door, if you will. If you open that up, that is where your plugs are for your data download as well as charging, and your SD card. So it supports, I believe, up to 1 terabyte SD card or something like that. Again, I'll put the specs on the screen. Don't quote me on that. The interior is a very nice moisture wicking interior. This is what they're considering a premium interior. And I think this is one of the things that separates the MK1S from the original MK1. I think the original MK1 just came with a generic interior liner. This all pops out, so you have your emergency pull tabs like every other helmet. This all pops out. The cheek pads are integrated with the neck roll. So very nice. You can take all of this out and you can wash it. And yeah, it's a very, very nice helmet. From a helmet perspective, this is really good. It's a little on the heavy side because of the Bluetooth controller, or excuse me, because of the smart controllers. But beyond that, it has very good airflow, very good venting. It feels good. There's not a whole lot of noise in here. And the speakers that it comes with are Harman Kardon speakers, and we'll take a look at them in just a second. But it comes with Harman Kardon speakers, and the original ones, the stock ones that come in the helmet, I think aren't very good. I have upgraded them to Master Dynamic, and we'll take a look at those in just a second, and those are a lot better. In fact, I think the very first time that I fired this up and put on some music, I think I blew one of the Harman Kardon speakers, though they're not of very good quality, so I would highly recommend upgrading the speakers. But from an overall helmet perspective, this is a very solid, very good helmet. It's heavy for a carbon fiber helmet, but not overly heavy when you're comparing it to something like, again, like a Shoei GT2 Air. But before we jump into the guts of the helmet, let's weigh them both really quick, and we'll see what they both are. We'll give it a pull. Lock that in. 3.48 pounds. So 3.48 pounds for my Shoei GT2 Air. Wait for that to lock in, and there you go, 3.93 pounds. So again, not that much heavier, but considering it's a carbon fiber shell, you would expect this to be a little bit lighter. But let's head on over to my bench, and we'll take a look at all of the goodies inside of here. All right, so I already showed you underneath here where the little door is. You have your charging port and as well as your SD card port, but we can pull out the interior lining. And like I said, the cheek pads and the neck roll are all one piece. There we go. And they all pop out like that. The chin curtain comes integrated. Like that. And there you go. You can see the inside. But here on the back side of the control box, here are those vents that I told you about, so you can actuate those or articulate those to open and close to get yourself some more air. The power button to turn everything on and off is right here. So you just give it one push. It'll light up green. You'll get some LEDs in there. So you get LEDs here, and then you'll get the light bar. I'll try to get some video of the light bar when you turn it on here. Your speakers are here. So like I said, I've upgraded these speakers, but we'll take a look at them in just a second. So you can take this entire control module and obviously the speakers off and out of the helmet. It's held in with 4 screws on the back, so 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. They're Phillips. And then 3 really small micro screws here around the camera housing. These are Torx screws, and they're T6, so they're really tiny. This is a T6 bit, so super tiny. So we remove these 3, then that removes this cover that protects the camera, and then we move the 4 Phillips screws on the back. So let's do that now. Don't lose these, obviously. That would be really bad if you lost them. There you go. Set those aside. And then the cover just sort of pulls right off. So there you go. That's the cover for the camera. And then close the lid, flip it over. Get yourself a small Phillips. And then we'll remove the screws. So again, one here, and then one here, one here. One more. Okay. There it is. All right. So now the whole thing pulls back. As you can see, the camera is attached and comes out. And let me grab the speakers here, pull the speakers out, and there you have it. There is our Forcite helmet. And you can see we have a nice bracket for everything to fit in. So let's talk about the Master Dynamic speakers for a second. So as I mentioned, I've upgraded the standard Harman Kardon speakers to these Master Dynamic speakers. So let's do a quick unboxing of these. All right, so here is the control unit, and then we have our stock Harman Kardon speakers on the left, along with our Master Dynamic speakers on the right. Let's go through the unit a little bit. So right up front, you can see the camera. Then we have our two connectors on either side for our speakers. We have our exterior view of our LEDs. And if we flip it over, we have the larger LED strip that you can see here. We have our two vents. So these, again, from the inside of your helmet, these are simply vents for air. So you push them in to allow air to flow through. So we have our power button down here on the bottom. I believe the microphones are internal to this. I've searched on the entire exterior of this control unit, and I could not find microphones anywhere whatsoever. There are certainly no microphones within the helmet. These are all the electronic components removed from the helmet. So everything is enclosed, so I assume the microphones are inside of this unit. You can see our barcode with Forcite MK1 on it, so this is an MK1S. The difference, I believe, between the S and just a standard MK1 is carbon fiber shell, and then we get the premium upgraded padding on the inside of the helmet, but the control unit itself appears to be the same. Anyway, that's the unit. Here are the speakers. So again, this is the standard Harman Kardon speaker that comes in the helmet. It is a 40mm speaker, fairly thin. This is the Master Dynamic upgraded speaker. Again, also a 40mm speaker, but as you can see, there's a considerable thickness difference. This is the Harman Kardon's a lot thinner than the Master Dynamic unit. As a result, I have removed these spacers. So these spacers come inside the helmet by default. So the Harman Kardons are mounted on the spacer like so, and that is so it fits closer to your ear. But with these being thicker, I went ahead and removed these, and we'll test them out. If I need them, I'll put them back in. If not, I'll just leave them removed as is. They appear to be of really good quality, nice foam padding covered with a silicone cover, fairly thick, so hopefully these will drive better than the other ones. As I mentioned, they have a proprietary connector, so you can't just use any old aftermarket helmet speakers that you want. These are not a 3.5mm standard audio jack, so they will not plug back in. So if you want to use something other than the Master Dynamic or the Harman Kardon, you'll have to do some splicing and cutting of that nature. And if you're an electrician, more power to you. I'm not, so I'm going to stay with these. They simply just plug right in. We'll do the same thing over here. Plug them in like so. That is really it. You can see that there's no movement in the camera, and I'm not moving it very hard because I don't want to break it, but there's no movement. It's solid mounted. I don't feel any spring or any cushioning. So again, the marketing material says that this unit, this camera has minimal image stabilization. So there's no mechanical stabilization, so maybe that minimal image stabilization is electronic, maybe it's EIS, but there's no gimbal, there's no moving about or allowing. This is a solid fixed mount to this unit. Now, having said that, the camera quality, and I'll show you this both in bright sunlight and in low light. I'll show you samples here in just a second. But this camera is, it would be good if it was 2013, 2014. But it's not. It's 2025. And for anyone to be putting a small form factor camera like this into anything and have it not be a minimum of 4K is kind of questionable. The good news is that we do have 60 frames per second for this. So again, 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second. There's probably a reason why they chose this, but I don't think they intended this to be an action camera. This is intended to be more of a dash cam to record your travels for safety purposes. And in that reason, I think 1080/60 is probably fine. All right, so before I put everything back together, I have an SD card here. Let's pop an SD card in here. And I want you guys to be able to see the color there. So we'll give it a press.
Your device is connected.
And then what you should see here in just a second is a red LED light up, indicating that the camera will automatically start recording. And there you go. And sometimes you get an audible, that'll say camera recording, but you see it pulsing there. That's letting you know that the camera is in fact recording. So right now it's connected via Bluetooth to my phone, which is also acting as the camera right now. Then we can turn it off. And the power button is also how you use it to pair. So if you hold the button for 6 seconds, it will pair with, it'll put it in pairing mode and you can pair it with your phone, your Android or your Apple device. It works with both. You do need to download the app, so you'll need to go to the Apple Store or Google Play or whatever it is. I can't remember what they're all, but you'll need to go and download the app. It does come with this controller, and this controller has 3 tabs on it. So the on button is in the middle. It'll do its little light things there. So up here you have your navigation button. Down here you operate the camera, so you can start and stop the camera. So again, as soon as you turn the helmet on, there's a function that allows you to auto start recording. You can turn that on and off. I have it on, so as soon as I turn this on, it'll start recording. But you can control whether the camera is recording or not from there. And here you can make and receive calls over here. So you can answer them, you can bypass them, you can hang up, so forth and so on. If you hold the center for, I think, 5 or 6 seconds, it will pair with the unit as well as your phone. There is a charging port here on top. And then there is a quarter 20 connector here on back. And the whole helmet and everything comes with a mount, a handlebar mount. That's over on my bike right now. I'll show you that in just a second here. They make an aftermarket sticky mount that mounts with double-sided stick tape. I will show you that here in just a second as well. Let's put this all this back in the helmet, and then we'll start talking about some of the things that I really don't like about the helmet. All right, guys, so the helmet is all back together with the exception of the cheek pads and the curtain. I left those out because I wanted to talk about the very first thing, or maybe it's the second thing, I can't remember. But I wanted to talk about one of the things that, that I'm not crazy about with this helmet. So this is a standard intermediate oval shaped shell. It is the most popular shell shape of helmets around the world. I have an intermediate oval shaped head, and I am a medium across the board my entire adult life. So whether it's Bell, Scorpion, Shoei, Arai, HJC, AGV, doesn't make a difference. I have always been a medium. So that's what I ordered from Bellissimoto when I got this helmet. I ordered a medium. Your new helmets are supposed to feel snug. Not uncomfortable, not painful, but they're supposed to feel snug because over time they will break in once you start sweating in them and wearing them and taking them on and off. It will form to your head and it will break in. This was painfully uncomfortable, particularly right around the brow and the back of the head. It was squeezing super, super tight, very uncomfortable. And because we had the smart controllers, my nose was literally touching the smart controller. So I said, this is too small. This is not going to work. So I sent it back and I got this. This is a large. Forcite has two shell sizes, as most companies do. They typically have one shell size from small up to a size, and then over a particular size, they have another shell. What that allows you to do is mess with the cheek pad sizing to get the fitment right. Because when I got the large was too big and the medium was too small. So I was right in that in between. So when I was riding this at speed, it would lift up and move about. I was like, no, this is not going to work as well. So what I did was I bought a number of different cheek pads and curtain sizes. So what I'm running right now is a large helmet with the small cheek padded curtain. And you can see that it says small. For the small there, it comes with the large, because the large helmet, and then this is a medium. So I messed with those just so I can make sure that I could get the fitment properly. And the small cheek padding and neck roll seems to work best for me on this large helmet. I still have a little bit of movement, so if I'm going to use it for just everyday riding on the street, I think it will be fine. I did use it on the track this past weekend, and I had to use a helmet sock so that it would fit snug because it kept, even with the small neck roll, the helmet was still lifting a bit at speed, up over 100 miles an hour, still lifting a little bit, and I didn't like that. So the moral of the story there is that these do not run true to size. So if you normally wear a small, you may want to upsize to a medium. If you normally wear a medium, you might upsize to a large. If you have the option to try them both on, if you're in the Las Vegas area, go down to Bellissimoto and they have a few there. You can try them on, see what works for you. So yeah, that's the first thing I really don't like. They don't run true to size. Second thing that I don't like is that this is a little on the heavy side. So we saw that it was, even though it's a carbon fiber shell, this helmet is heavier than the Shoei GT2 Air. Beyond that, I think it's a fantastic helmet. It's a really good helmet. Unfortunately, I still can't recommend it. The reason being is the third and final thing, which I really do not like, and that is the app. I don't know who programmed this. I don't know how they released this, but it is really, really, really bad, like borderline unusable bad. All right, so what's so bad about the app? So I'm recording on an iPhone 14 Max. So obviously the very first thing you have to do is go to the App Store and you have to download the app, which I did. Then you have to create an account. Very basic information. It's like first name, last name, email address, and a password. Very generic, very basic stuff, right? So I populate that stuff and I get an error and it says my account was not created successfully. There's some type of error. So I said, don't know what that's about, so I'll try it again. Put in the exact same information, right? This time it tells me that email address is already in use. Now, there's no one else using my email address. It's pretty unique. So clearly the account was created, but something failed along the lines. So I tried to log in with the account, and then I get a third error, and it says, your account's not active. Please go to the email and click the link to activate the account. Well, I never got an email because it told me that my account was not created. So there's some type of error. So I never got the email. I click the back button, and as soon as I click the back button in the app, it logs me into the app. But I'm in. So at least now I'm in the app, but now there's an error across the screen in the middle of the app that's covering everything. That won't go away. I don't know what that's about. So I send a couple of emails off to the support team, never hear back. I've had this at least 4 weeks now, 3-4 weeks. I've sent about 5 or 6 support emails. Never heard anything back from support whatsoever. So support doesn't get back to you, and now I got errors across the screen on the app. So I'm trying to use the app with the error across the screen. And the very first thing your instructions tell you to do is update the firmware. So you go to the helmet page within the app and nothing. I click on the helmet app and I get nothing. The screen just freezes. It doesn't let me in there. I try to update my profile in the app. It won't let me update my profile. I try to go to the camera settings. It won't let me go to the camera settings. So luckily, by default, the camera records with the highest frame rate. So it records 1080 at 60 frames per second. But if I wanted to go to 30, I can't. I can't get into that area where I can make adjustments. If there's anything on that page that I can possibly alter or change or enable image stabilization, I can't get to it. Can't get to it at all. I can use the navigation feature, which is good, but again, there's an error across the screen. So it's really bad. I can't update my profile. I get an error on that screen. I can't change my password. So if you click on forgot password, that doesn't work. That also gives you an error. I did reach out to Bellissimoto. They're aware of some of the issues. I need to contact them again to see if there's been any updates. But I'll continue to try to work through this with Bellissimoto. But if you just need a helmet, you want good music, and you want one with a camera on the front, not a problem. You don't need the app for that. But if you need to do anything else with the app, you're out of luck. So I think the person that's going to use this is the commuter, the person that wants a dash cam to record their commute back and forth to work and also wants to listen to music. I'm going to show you some footage right now. I'll show you some daytime footage, and I'm going to show you some nighttime footage. And you'll see that the nighttime footage is usable, but it's not great. The daytime footage is usable, but it's not great. And I'll also show you some track footage, which without image stabilization, and I've tried to stabilize it in post, it's still pretty bad. So I'll show you those 3 clips right now, and then we'll come back.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you can hear me over the exhaust and the wind. We are out on my Ducati Diavolo 1260S. All right, guys. We're doing a little night riding, comparing videos.
So there you have it. Those were the 3 clips. So daytime, evening, and track footage. All of those were recorded in 1080p at 60 frames per second. I did not upscale them. I did not do any color correction or anything. It is as it is. The only thing I did was the gain on the microphone is turned way down on the helmet. And I assume they do that because it being on a helmet that's going to pick up exhaust, it's going to be on a loud bike, wind noise. So I assume they turn the gain down, trying to compensate for that. So I turned the gain up, turned the volume up so that you can actually hear me and hear some of the motorcycle sounds while I was riding. But fantastic helmet overall. A little heavy and not true to size, but otherwise a very, very good helmet. And at a halfway decent price. You can find these on sale. I did not pay retail. I won't tell you what I paid for them, but if you want one, reach out to Bellissimoto or reach out to me. I can get you one at a fantastic discount. But otherwise, awesome helmet. So Forcite, nothing against you guys, just fix that app. Please, 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 please fix that app. But that's a wrap, guys. I am Derek. This is Euro Superbike Life. Hopefully you found this video informative and entertaining. But you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, or smash it if you hated the video. Until next time, guys. Speaking of next time, what do I have coming up? So I told you that we're going to be modifying the Diablo. We're not doing a whole bunch of stuff to it because that's my daily rider. That's what I ride to and from work. But I do have some things coming up. So that's going to start in the next video. So until next time, guys, take care.